So you're thinking of upgrading your gear and you're stuck on a big question. Should I buy a full frame camera or should I buy an APS-C camera? Don't worry, you're not alone. This is a question that a lot of photographers have had to ask at some point. And the truth is that there is no one size fits all answer. It all depends on your budget, your needs, your style of photography, the thing you're trying to accomplish. Well, what's the difference? First, let's define the basics. The biggest difference between a full frame and an APS-C camera is the sensor size. A full frame sensor is about the same size as a 35mm film frame, while an APS-C sensor is smaller. Now, this difference affects a lot of things like the image quality, the field of view, and even how your lenses behave. Why go full frame? Full frame cameras are like the Ferraris of photography. They are powerful, they are sleek, and yes, they are a bit costly. But here's why people love full frame cameras. First of all, we're talking about better low light performance. The larger sensors capture more light, which means less noise and better detail when shooting in dim conditions, poorly lit conditions. Night photographers, event photographers, and wedding photographers really love full frame cameras for this reason. The second reason is higher dynamic range. You'll notice more details in the shadows and highlights, which is perfect for like landscape photography or high contrast scenes. The third reason is a wider field of view. So with a full frame, your lenses give you the exact focal length that you're looking for. So a 50mm lens is truly a 50mm lens. And this is ideal for wide angle shots and creative compositions. So you're getting the focal length that you really want. It's not cropped, it's not reduced, it's exactly. So if you're putting a 60mm wide lens, you're getting a 60mm field of view. Now, a fourth reason is the depth of field. Full frame cameras create that creamy background blur, that bokeh, more easily. So if portraits is your main type of photography, this is a huge plus. You really want to think about getting a full frame. But remember that all that goodness comes at a cost. Not just the camera itself, but even the lenses that come with full frames. They're often bigger and more expensive. So all of those advantages I just listed are worth considering. But ultimately, you have to also know that those advantages come at a relatively higher cost than buying the alternative, which is the APS-C camera. And we're going to talk about that right now. So what's great about APS-C cameras? APS-C cameras might not have the same prestige, but they're reliable workhorse cameras for many photographers. And here's why. Number one is that they're affordable. They're more affordable. APS-C cameras are generally less expensive than full frame cameras, and so are their lenses. So if you're just starting on a tight budget, this is a no-brainer. The second reason is portability. APS-C cameras are usually lighter and more compact. They're usually easier to carry around. They're perfect for like street or travel photography and so on. So the third reason is that with APS-C cameras, you usually have a longer reach, a longer zoom. So the crop factor, which is usually around 1.5 times or 1.6 times the focal length, gives you extra zoom. So for example, a 200mm lens on an APS-C camera acts more like a 300mm lens. And this is good for like wildlife or sports where you can't get really close to the subject, but you want to take really good photos. So like in sports, like football or wildlife, if you put a 200mm lens on an APS-C camera, you're getting effectively like a 300mm zoom range. That's one reason why you might want to consider getting an APS-C camera. Now, the fourth reason is that APS-C cameras are good enough for most situations. So unless you're shooting in extremely low light or you're trying to get really massive prints, the APS-C camera delivers excellent quality. They're more than capable of producing great results, like for social media, websites, your personal portfolio, and even exhibitions. So what are the downsides of both cameras? The downside is that full frame cameras can be quite bulky and heavy, and not everyone wants to carry a big bulky camera around. While APS-C cameras may struggle in like low lights or when trying to achieve some shallow depth of field, So which one should you buy? So here's the deal. It really depends on your goals and how you plan to use your camera. So if you're aiming to go pro and shoot a lot in low light or events, you just want to have a rugged camera that can shoot in any kind of condition or situation, or you need the highest image quality, then you might think about going for a full frame camera. If you're still learning, you share your work mostly online, or you just need something that is light and easy to carry around and budget friendly, then go for an APS-C camera. It's a solid choice. You won't regret. It won't stop you from making progress in your photography. So here is some practical advice. First of all, consider your lenses first. Your glass matters more than the body. So you need to think about investing in good lenses so that even if you upgrade to a full frame camera later, you still have good lenses to work with. Another thing is to think about the aspect of photography you want to focus on. Is it portraits, or is it wildlife, or sports, or general everyday street photography? Is it travel, or is it whatever it is? So those things might determine what you choose. So if it's portraits, you're thinking about a full frame camera for that greater depth of field, higher quality in case your client is going to print and enlarge it. Same goes for if it's wildlife. So if it's wildlife or sports where you want a longer reach, you may think of an APS-C camera, even for travel, because it's lighter, it's easier to carry around. So don't overthink it, because really the best camera is the one you use. Let me say that again. The best camera is the one in your hands, and it's the one you use. So both APS-C and full frame cameras can create amazing photos if you focus on your skills. And if you watch this channel, you know that I always talk about the fact that it's not really the gear that matters, it's the story you want to tell and the skill that you apply in telling that story. So if you're thinking really about it, like I said, consider all the things I've said, but don't overthink it. Try to think about the aspect you want to go into, and whichever one resonates with you more, that should be the option that you choose. Not forgetting that you should invest more in lenses and in your skill in storytelling. Because at the end of the day, the camera is just a tool. What really makes a difference is your vision, your creativity, and your passion for photography. So take a good look at what matters the most to you and make your choice. So whether you go on full frame or you stick with an APS-C camera, you are one step closer to creating the work you've always dreamed about. So I hope this video helps. I wish you a great time shooting with whichever camera you choose, and whichever one you own. If you're thinking of switching or upgrading, I hope this video helps. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.